Anker does three things. It defines property requirements, it manages data connected to those properties, and it exports data with parameter values on those properties. And it does all of that in one place. And if it's one thing that BIM taught us 20 years ago, it was that changing stuff in one place is smart. Let me show you how it works. First, you can define properties in the properties palette of Anker. You have Revit properties and Anker properties so far. And you can either define them manually by clicking Add, give them a name, a type, options, elements, or strings. You can assign a IFC property name to them, or a property set name and description, and so on. Or you can go all the way down to the bottom and click the wonderful import button and import requirements directly from your building owner's requirement database, connecting in one place the owner's requirements to your data. Next, you can go to tables and manage this data. So when you've defined a set of properties for your project, you can make tables. I'm going to open this one called NOSTB. I have a couple of tables for architects, a few tables for changing or seeing the change log of the BIM. And inside this table that's called NOSTB, you see all the elements from two different Revit files live streamed. So every time someone syncs from Revit, this table is going to update with the elements coming from the files. So I'm going to use the groups that I defined in the properties overview and automatically populate or link in all the properties connected to this group called NOSTB. Now I'm going to see elements coming from the BIM and properties defined in the Anker. Some of these properties are string properties, so I can just click in here and type something. And some of them are option properties where I can select predefined strings, basically allowing for zero spelling mistakes and correct syntax. Or I can go and use the automate features of Anker. So we want to make the entering of correct data in building projects as easy as possible. I've created an automation routine for this file called onFill. It fills out all of this data, whether it's string data like project number or option data like contract number, and then run this automation routine. And then what's going to happen is that Anker is going to grab all the elements coming from the file, in this case called onFill, and populate all of those properties with all of those property values. And these rules you can play around with. It can be based on whether it's walls or ceilings or windows or doors, or whether it comes from this file or this application and this application. Now when this automation routine is finished, I can go back to the NOSTB table that we previously looked at and behold all the wonderful data here automatically published. In this case, 5,529 elements, all with the exact correct data that we're supposed to have. I can view both the onFill and the infill. So this is two different Revit files containing almost 3,000 elements each, with all different data connected to those elements. Lastly, when this is connected to the BIM, I can go into my BIM and click on stuff and then check the data visually. I can open a plan drawing, for instance, and enter fire rating for the walls and acoustic rating for doors. And lastly, I can go and file export the Revit model to the IFC format for distribution to contractors and building owners and maintenance people. And when I do that, Revit is going to make that IFC file, and Anker is going to grab it when it's finished and fill it up with data from the Anker database, which means that you're managing important metadata on your project in one place and then distributing it out automatically to anyone who needs it. And when it's finished, it looks something like this. So this is a coordination model containing all those three files or sub-projects on the one project, and they all have the contract numbers in this case, or the MMI in this case, all have the MMI 300 parameters connected to all the elements that are going to be built and managed in this project. One of many things that I love about this is that it solves real problems that real people are having today. If you have 16 Revit files and 2 Tekla files and 14 ArchiCAD models, and they're all disconnected, you can still, with a tool like this, export consistent and standardized data that's correct automatically.